Welcome back in Grand Slam Sports Soccer now alongside
Charles Foster,
Samuel Gailey.
I'm Jay Sodge. Let's go ahead and get right into it. The 2030 World Cup, they announced the host yesterday. It's an interesting one. It's going to be continental now. They announced Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay to host the first 3 games. And then Morocco, Spain, and Portugal to host the rest of the tournament. So 3 different continents involved in the host.
Well, I was about to say, that's really interesting. You imagine all those plane flights and all the different time zones. I mean, as a player, I think that would mess me up just a little bit. I'm excited.
That was my first issue with it is flights. I mean, obviously, that time zone flights. I mean, these are not just different states. These are different countries, even different continents. So I like it because it kind of takes the World Cup and World Cup. But I also really I feel like it depends on how they do it. If they're good on the scheduling and let the players rest, then we'll be fine. And
then so all 6 of those countries that are hosting will automatically qualify. Obviously, it's going to be part of the expanded 48-team tournament that they're going to introduce in 2026 here in the U.S.
I don't like Paraguay. Paraguay, I feel like, should earn it. I mean, you can make a case for Uruguay. You can make a case for Argentina. You can make a case for Morocco played exceptionally at this last.
But every single World Cup they've had the host, automatically make it.
But I think that's kind of doing it. No, it's usually.
I mean,
one
it's
team.
a 48-team tournament now too, so you have 42 teams still qualifying for that World Cup. I mean, they're entering the 48-team tournament here in a few years here in the U.S. They're going to have 48.
I like that. I think it gives more excitement. I mean, the World Cup is what draws a lot of people. I mean, that's what got me into soccer for the first time was this year's World Cup. So it draws people, and you get even more games, even more countries. You got people that never watch soccer really that much cheering for their countries. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and the whole reason they did this was because of this is the 100-year anniversary of the first ever World Cup. So it began in Uruguay, Paraguay, Argentina. So the first 3 games will be played there as an honor to that 100th anniversary. But moving on to Premier League, we have a big game this weekend. Arsenal versus Manchester City, Premier League showdown. What do you guys think?
Man City, Arsenal. That Arsenal loss, the lens really hit them where it hurts. I think they're going to come out with some fire.
At the Emirates Stadium, though, in Arsenal.
I know, but you got Erling Haaland. It's literally all it is. I mean,
no Rodri, who's the heart and soul of the Man City team.
Stones
is not going to play either.
Well, it's not like you don't have a deep bench. You got Nathan Ake to fill in for Stones. You got Calvin Phillips to fill in for Rodri.
Calvin Phillips has been one of the worst players for City. Not to be mean to him, but he has not been good for Man City in any regard.
My point is you have quality players behind.
Do Arsenal, we really?
Yeah, I mean.
Everyone says that, but have you actually seen the depth they have this year?
I'm taking Man City, and I'm stepping back from this conversation.
Okay. Charles, any input?
Honestly, I think it'll be a phenomenal game. I think that a draw is very possible here. But if I had to pick a team that's going to go over, I'm going to go Arsenal. Even though they're struggling after that last one.
I just want you to know, Saka is questionable to play after an injury against Lens.
I lied. I'm going Man City.
Yes, there you go.
I had to inform you of the injuries.
Charles didn't read his script right here.
But City,
wait, hold on. Right? Saka questionable.
But City has no Rodri because red card, and Stones is doubtful to play.
Man City, I like their team more normally, but like I said, it's losing one of your biggest scoring threats in soccer. I mean, that kind of makes sense.
They still have a Martinelli. They still have a Martinelli,
Martinelli's not as creative as Saka.
It'll be a fun one. But if any team wins, not a draw in Man City.
I'm taking a draw. Even though I'm a City fan, I think this will be a draw at the Emirates. I mean, we lost to Arsenal in the Community Shield at the beginning of the year. Obviously, when we were all healthy. Everyone was healthy. We lost that game. I mean, usually we own Arsenal, but I'm just not sure about how it's going to work this year.
This is a title match. These 2 teams will very likely be fighting for the title at the end of the year. So I mean,
I don't know about Arsenal this year.
Slow down.
Arsenal's been rough this year.
I think that Arsenal will make it back up.
You think so?
I mean, I think they finished top 5. I don't think you're going to be challenged.
Nah, I think that they'll be challenging.
Wow. I think
if they stay healthy. And if they make some moves at January, maybe I think they can.
I think the good old City pool's back. City and Liverpool title. We saw that 3 years in a row. I think that's back. I think Tottenham's going to challenge this year too. You've seen how they play.
Tottenham's playing really well tonight.
And looking over to some transfer possibilities, there's been a rumor that Lionel Messi might go back to Barcelona on loan in January when the MLS season ends.
I don't think this is a possibility. I really don't. I think he's settled in Miami. I like the idea. I want to see Messi play for Barcelona again. But I think they just moved on. He doesn't fit
Because
the team.
obviously with MLS season being, a different time of the year, players can loan over to Europe for 6
That's too
months
much
or
paperwork.
say.
That's too much paperwork, man.
But
I just don't see it.
Barcelona could afford it in that situation now.
Oh, yeah.
Barcelona can afford anybody,
Yeah.
apparently. So, but I'm not surprised.
They can't
Let's
afford
be
any,
honest.
but
It would be fun, but I mean, at the same time, I feel like that's just like one of those like dream scenarios. I don't see
Yeah.
that actually happening.
I agree.
Okay. So moving on, we got the Champions League Matchday 2 over the week. See that trophy right there? Man City's.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Not
it is.
yet.
It is. Last year's it was. First one, very happy.
Okay,
with
get
that.
on with it. Get on with
So we have to
it.
brag about my city.
Get on
We're
with
talking
it.
about our rivals, Man United. They lost to Galatasaray
Oh man, I took so much pleasure in this game.
at Old Trafford.
That's
That's their
dumb.
third straight loss at Old Trafford. What is happening?
That laugh says it all from Charles.
Honestly,
What is
like,
happening at United?
Seeing Man U, I think no matter who you're a fan of, seeing this team struggle, it just brings a smile to everyone's face.
even more me.
You're
'cause,
evil. Okay. Wow.
especially,
He's not even preying on their downfall. He's laughing at their downfall.
especially in the form that they did, because it's just losing at home 3 games in a row. I mean, Old Trafford, that's like
and they hadn't lost in like a year.
Yeah,
Not lost
and
3 in a
to lose
row.
3 in a row. I mean, there's some issues at Man U that need to be fixed. And
Do we even have to mention that Casemiro's their top goal scorer?
It's a problem.
Their center defensive
Yeah.
midfielder, who's what,
big
38, is like their.
Is it not Højlund yet? I think he's getting close. Isn't he already?
Højlund's getting close. I like Højlund.
He scored-
I really do. But
He's top scorer in the
still,
UCL
it's
so
embarrassing.
far. So.
It's embarrassing.
I think that we need to watch out for this team in January transfer window. I think that they're going to make a lot of moves, whether that's bringing in people or letting go
They
of
already
people.
brought a few players in the last
Sancho's
window.
going. Sancho's
Yeah.
leaving.
Sancho's gone for
Sancho's
sure.
I see Martial leaving too.
He bound to. Harry Maguire eventually is going to leave. Hopefully,
see.
I know a lot of fans of United don't want Harry Maguire there
Man
anymore.
U has a lot of things to fix come January and come off season as well. So I'm very interested to see what they do.
Ten Hag magic, yes or no this season?
Nah, he was never a good coach to begin with.
Whoa, wow, that's a bold statement.
Not
there
a
coming
Premier
from
League,
Jace Hodge.
not a Premier League top 6 worthy coach.
He's gonna come knock on your door with his bald head. And you're like,
He was
what
at-
do you say?
He was at Ajax and he had a really good management there, getting youth prospects. But now at United, he just doesn't have the owners that support him.
I agree with that, Sam.
The Glazers don't support him like owners should.
The Glazers don't support anybody. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we knew that. Come on, we already knew that.
All right.
Staying in England, Newcastle at home at St. James's Park, 4-1 against Paris.
I loved and hated this game.
I took him
I
over
hated
on
this
this
game
game.
because I think I said PSG last week. And it's hard because PSG is one of those teams, like you think they come in and they win this one, but they just were embarrassed. Like there was never anything that went right at all.
And when you let Dan Burns score a goal, something's a problem.
Dan
Something's a
Burns
problem.
went home after I saw an Instagram post that Dan Burns emptying out his pockets after the game for his PSG. Got Dembele and Mbappe in there. How does that happen? I mean, Charles, what went wrong for PSG?
The issue was it just felt like the second that the ball went into their side, they crumbled. It felt like every single time Newcastle got it near the box, they were always a scoring threat. And it feels like there was like anytime you see Newcastle in the middle with the ball, you normally PSG defenders, they're normally on it, but it just kind of felt like it was open. They had a lot of time to make whatever decision they wanted to make.
And I mean, for PSG, they don't have a midfield in that game. They were playing Mbappe kind of at the cam spot, Dembele like a left mid,
Yeah.
and Marquinhos had a bad game. So all in all, it was like you said, it was shambolic.
One
for
of the
PSG.
biggest things and one of the biggest issues when it comes to a team being on your side is you cannot give them time. If they have time to sit there, scan, and make their decisions, they're going to, especially a team like Newcastle. And they had time, they made the decisions.
They were very patient.
They were
And
very
they have been
very
on
patient.
fire recently. They beat City in the Carabao Cup. They won 8-0 in the Premier League against Sheffield United in the last Prem game.
It's impressive.
Newcastle is on fire.
Impressive.
Do you think they can make any run at any trophies this year?
They could. I mean, I want to see them make it out of the group of death.
I wouldn't say yes, but they're going to make a valiant effort.
Maybe like
I mean,
Carabao.
Because last year they were in the final of the Carabao. They lost to United, and they already beat City in the Carabao. And they play United in the next Carabao
If they
game.
beat United, I think they win the Carabao.
I think they do beat United. United right now, United.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But
I
obviously,
think-
we still got to say if because I
Yeah,
said that
that's
Man
right.
City would win it this year. So, I mean,
And
we'll
then,
see, we'll see, we'll
As for a
see.
third England team in the UCL, we mentioned earlier, Lens 2, Arsenal 1.
It's a tough weekend for to be a supporter in Arsenal and the Man United camp, I think. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing. but-
Arsenal back in the Champions League and losing to Lens, a French team who barely ever plays in the Champions League or any European football to
barely
begin
cracked
with.
the top 10 last season, actually.
Lens?
Yeah.
They were second in the
They were?
Liga. Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking about a Lyon.
Yeah, you're thinking about Lyon.
Yeah, Lens. It's very rare that you see, especially a French team, beat a Premier League team
rather
like
than
that,
PSG.
Other than like PSG.
Right.
Yeah.
And so to see Arsenal, who was definitely one of the favorites to win this group, to lose to a team like Lens, who in my opinion,
have you seen their group? Sevilla, PSV, and Lens. It's a Europa League.
Yeah, it's all of them were Europa last year.
Sevilla and PSV both were.
So
that was Arsenal,
league,
actually.
I said that they would win it, and I said they would win it. And for them to lose to the team that I thought would be at the bottom, that's big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't lose games like that. There are some games and groups that are must-wins, and to lose like that, even if they do come out of the group, it shows weakness with the teams that went through their groups and swept them.
Let's talk about your Inter Milan beating Benfica.
I'm happy. Obviously, I said last week that we would not because we were not in form. We were struggling.
You gotta trust your own team sometimes.
Hey,
I
try not to show bias. If I believe that my team is not going to win, or if I believe that we're not playing well, I'm going to say that. And I said it was either going to be a draw or a loss. It was looking that way until later in the game. And hey, games like that, Inter, they have so much talent to where if you give them even one chance, you won't.
Sure.
You have no chance of winning.
And for the fourth Prem team in the UCL, I mean, we don't have to go much into it because it's City again, but they went to Leipzig and won 3-1. They were tied 1-1 for a while there, but they scored 2 late goals.
I told you guys last week. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, I was happy about that.
That was the first ever game that Leipzig's lost to an English team on home soil.
Leipzig, I like their team because they're a newer team, and I think that team, they have a lot of potential.
They made a quick run up the German football.
I think that team has potential, and they could, they got something going on down there quietly, but they got something going on down there.
I mean, they're consistently producing young talents like Vardiol now at City. Now they have Openda, the striker. He came from Lens.
Doku's nice as well.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yep.
Now looking at a big error in the Premier League last weekend, VAR in the Liverpool game. Luis Diaz scored a goal. Actually didn't score a goal, but they reviewed it, and they said it still wasn't a goal, even though it was. He was very easily onside.
Yeah.
And they even posted the actual review process.
I think if we didn't have VAR, I think people would still be complaining.
Yeah,
it's human error, and I think soccer is big on human error. And I feel like people are going to be complaining whether we have VAR or we don't.
Yeah.
But
an error like this, an error that massive cost Liverpool the game. Possibly they lost the game.
The issue is obviously, and I know there was the audio that came out as well during the VAR.
Just one big confusion.
It's just, once again, like you said, human error. That's going to happen no matter the sport. It's going to happen no matter what. I mean, we see, like I said, we've been talking about other sports a lot lately. You see the questionable holding call in the Jets game, pitches that are missed constantly in baseball. I mean, that happens. And unfortunately, it happened in one of the biggest spots, but you can't sit there and say the VAR is a massive problem now, because mistakes happen. That's the whole point of having human referees. If we did not want mistakes to happen, we would just have robots on the field again. And I don't know why we would. I don't know why there's so much complaint for something that happens all the time in a lot of sports.
Yeah, no, I like VAR. I think it's the right decision.
I agree. I definitely like VAR, but it takes away the sense of there's magical stuff that happens. We're talking about a Diego Maradona's hand of God. It's just those things where you're like, no, and it's those things are memorable. Unfortunately, if you maybe a Lampard slip or a Steven Gerrard slip penalty, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's gonna be everything in soccer that's gonna have that thing of either pure joy or sheer agony.
The biggest issue with the VAR in this situation is if you're gonna have it, you got to use it right. And with the VAR showing that it was not a goal, for it not to have been changed, that's a lot of people's issue, is they're wondering, why do we even have VAR if it still doesn't count? And so in that situation, I'm not biggest against VAR. I like VAR. But if you're going to use it, you got to use it right. And in my opinion, it should have been a goal.
And how can they improve VAR in the future? I mean, it's still fairly new to the game.
I mean, you can't really. It's all going to come down to who's behind the desk and who's making the calls.
Time. It's just going to take time. I guarantee you, back in the day, whenever we got instant replay, there were mistakes like this too.
Yep.
It just takes time. Mistakes happen.
Yep.
Move on.
Looking at the U.S. men's national team, Giovanni Reyna was called up. He has an ongoing feud with the head manager, Greg Berhalter, but he is officially called up once again. Thoughts on that?
He's going to ball out. I have no problem with Gio Reyna.
And
I think he can play whether he has the backing of the manager or not.
He's been benched the last 4 games in Dortmund, not even playing.
Yeah.
He'll find his form. I'm not too worried.
Yeah, I mean, disputes happen, and I feel like. Yeah,
but Berhalter hasn't talked to him since the dispute happened.
Well, he was selected for a reason, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But still.
They're going to have to figure it out. I mean, that's the way it is. They're adults.
Lock them in a room together for 10 minutes.
I don't want to sit there like I'm a teacher, like
Yeah,
you guys need to sit there and figure it out. But that's the way it is. They need to sit down and talk. Maybe, I don't know, go to dinner or something.
I
Figure
like
it
that
out.
idea.
And because you guys are about to not only just playing for your club, this is bigger. This is for playing for your country. Little small disputes like this. No.
I guarantee you, Gio Reyna would die for that badge right there.
Exactly.
I think Greg Berhalter at least knows that.
And then, so about Berhalter, what's your thoughts on him? He got hired back after the U.S. did an extensive search for a new head manager, but they hired Berhalter back once again, and a lot of fans don't like him.
I don't like it. I think that his style of play is out of date. His tactics are a little out of date. I wanted them to go for maybe trying to lure a Mourinho or trying to lure someone like a Zidane. This United States team is so young and so vibrant.
There's talent there. The talent's there to win.
He's trying to make a young, vibrant team play like they still have Landon Donovan and Bradley and all of them. And just the play style doesn't match the play.
We see this a lot in every sport. Once again, I like to bring it to other sports. You know this. I mean, we see these young teams.
He's new to soccer, guys. Give him a break.
I do it in football too. We see these young teams, and they come in with so much fire. They come in with all this passion, and it just snuffed like that because of an old coach that fits that wants it, like this is the way that has to be no matter what. They don't change their formations. They don't change anything. It's just it doesn't matter who I have on the pitch.
Right.
These are this is how we're playing. You figure it out instead of the coach switching around.
I feel like that's just soccer in America though. Even looking at the college game, I mean it's more of a physical
Honestly,
push.
it's just American sports.
Yeah, it's American sports is known for physicality and stuff, but I think they need to bring in someone with a little international flair to motivate them and let them be creative. And
originally, Berhalter, when he first began, loved to call up all the MLS players, the MLS, American players. Now he's beginning to call up more European as it goes, as those players, go to Europe.
The movement of Tyler Adams, Aronson. Wait, where is he at?
There's two Aronsons, Paxton and Brendan.
Yep.
Both in the Bundesliga.
Union Berlin
and Frankfurt.
Yes. Look at that. Leave it to Jace Hodge to go hunt down some facts. I like it. He knows FIFA cards better than me, but.
And looking at Paul Pogba, he is facing up to a 4-year suspension.
He's not dabbing
anymore.
Due
to a second test confirmed high testosterone levels. So he's taking some kind of substance that's
performing enhancing drugs. Kids don't do them.
Facing a 4-year ban.
You know what? I think honestly, Paul Pogba's hype has come to an end.
Absolutely.
And I would be okay with him taking a 4-year break. He's not one of those players.
I mean, hasn't he kind of already not playing?
Exactly.
He plays and get injured all the time.
I kind of forgot that
Exactly.
So this is sad, and it's really sad for someone to be at his talent level. Because when he was top, he was top. He was in his prime. Homie could dribble through 5-6 guys, put it top right, and then run around to the corner flag and dab.
There's some people that, as someone that's newer to watching soccer, you know who these people are before you even get into it. Paul Pogba was a name I heard going around all the time when I was kind of getting more into it. And so I naturally gravitated towards him. I really liked his style of play. And it's unfortunate to see those talented players go down like that. But
it makes me mad. It makes me sad. But it's okay.
He's a great athlete. When he's healthy, he's one of the best midfielders in the world.
I agree.
But but now unfortunately he might be banned for 4 years.
He'd be what? In his upper 30s?
Upper 30s now, yeah.
No, lower 30s, sorry. Like 32.
32. Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
He's like 29 right now, I think.
I think he's 28.
Now, our last bit of news today, City is trying to extend the known Erling Haaland because they want to, try to get Real Madrid out of his way.
You know what they should do? Yeah, at this point, they should just plop down a 5-year contract in front of him and tell him to sign it. Yeah. Erling Haaland's Erling Haaland.
The issue with being a top player is we saw it with Mbappe. Literally the second that news broke that he might be leaving, you have Real Madrid, you have all these teams that are just standing there like this.
The Sharks are circling. The Sharks are circling.
Exactly, and they are waiting because they got that money, they got the prestige. Everyone wants to play. I mean, who doesn't want to play for a Madrid or a Barca? So it's whenever the second that even you are considering leaving, they're going to be there.
But the rumor is they're going to have a release clause still in his contract, so Real Madrid could pay that. Upwards of $200 million probably.
You know who I see paying that? You know who I see paying that? PSG.
Yeah.
Really?
If they get rid of Mbappe, if they make that Mbappe money,
Yep,
they're
I
gonna
agree.
yeah they're gonna.
I see an Mbappe
But
to Real
does it-
Madrid, and I see a Haaland to PSG.
See, I don't think Madrid goes for Mbappe anymore. I think they're going to go
I
for
agree.
Osimhen maybe in January.
I would like that. He's cheaper. And in my
Osimhen's a
opinion,
good striker as well.
he's not better, but
He's not happy in
He
Napoli
could be
as well.
better for their team specifically.
Yeah, so I think Madrid goes for Osimhen. I think Mbappe is stuck right now.
Smart move from City. I love that move.
Get
I
out
think,
before.
Yeah, get everything out of him as you can. Maybe 2 more UCL titles, maybe 2 more Prems. But, I mean, I see why they're trying to pull this off.
You got to make sure you don't even give the chance, because like right now, obviously no one's really going for Haaland right now. But the second that his contract gets there,
Yep.
they're gonna be looking, and yeah, you got to make sure that you got them locked down.
Yep,
And
I
a
agree.
release clause, in my opinion, that's risky,
risky.
because it's a lot of money, but
Teams will pay it.
teams will pay it.
Teams will pay it.
And if that could cause some issues. We
Soccer
gotta
is the
watch-
most expensive sport in the world.
Absolutely.
We got to watch out for that. Watch out for Haaland these next few years. He might get snagged.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that'll do it for our Grand Slam Sports Soccer segment. Thank you, Charles and Sam, for your great input.
Awesome.
Grand Slam Sports.